I had somebody on Reverb Nation that was asking me about how you can stretch your fingers out and kind of work on finger exercises when you're trying to stretch the different frets and be able to play easier on the guitar when you're trying to learn new things. Sometimes it strains your fingers a little bit, some finger exercises. So I wanted to show you some of the ones that I use that really helped me a lot. And the biggest thing I wanted to point out first is that anytime you're trying to learn something, make sure you play it slow. Slow it way down, play it really slow, and play it really accurately, because a lot of people think that you've got to, build up all this speed and just have it. And you get that speed by just really slowing things down and make sure you're accurately doing things first. You got to do that, and all the guitar players will tell you that. And it doesn't sound like it would make sense, but it really does help. Now, one of the first things you'll notice about the guitar when you're first trying to approach things is anything you play down here towards the nut of the guitar, the headstock, is further apart. When you go up here higher on the neck, all of a sudden the frets get closer together. So if you're having trouble playing something down here at first, simply move it up here and work on it up here first. And one of the things a lot of people tell you to try to do first, well, one of the things back when I was learning how to play the guitar that a lot of us used to do that was a really bad habit was when we would get into lead guitar, we would use our first, second, and third fingers, and we'd skip this pinky because it's a really weak finger. So we were sitting there, playing these. You'll see a lot of people doing that and not using the pinky at all. And when you try to put that pinky in there at first, it's like, ouch, I can't do it. So one of the first things you can do to break that habit is to simply work on playing 4 notes in a row. This is one of the first exercises a lot of guitar players will do, where you simply you start on the lowest string and you go first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, and do that on each string really slow. Now when you come to the third and fourth finger, you're going to really feel that if you're not used to using that fourth finger. And then do it in reverse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down. And make sure you're really stopping slowly and making sure you're getting each note out. And another thing you want to do is don't even pick the notes. Just practice actually fingering the notes and just trying to get that, work on that stretch there, between that third and that fourth finger. And just like while you're watching TV or something, just hammer the notes on and then pull the notes off. And make sure you're pulling the notes off into each other. Like each finger, start hammer on the fourth finger, pull off on the third finger. And you're going to feel that quite a bit at first. Just sitting there doing that for a while. But that really helps. And another thing about the guitar here that I had somebody point out to me, a lot of guitar players will try to hit their fingers in the very middle of the fret. And it's actually easier if you try to land right next to that fret, just right by the fret bar, just in front of it, because it's easier to press down there than it is in the middle. When you try to push down in the middle at first, it's harder, especially with your pinky. If you try to get it right close to that fret, it's easier to press down. Now another exercise that I use that really helped me a lot between my third and my fourth finger was, it's kind of like a Joe Satriani exercise. You would hear Van Halen a lot back in the 70s and 80s doing like a tapping thing like that. Well, Joe Satriani would do licks where he would simulate that tapping, but he would do it right in a 3-finger pattern. And it's a first finger, third finger, and fourth finger on the high E string, and really slow. It goes 1, 3, 4, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 4, 3, 1, 4. and I'm picking it. Now do it without picking and try to make the notes sound. Hear that fourth finger pulling off. Hammer on, pull, pull, hammer on, pull. Now that, you will feel that it doesn't seem like much. That will really work your hand. And it takes a long time to get that, but that's a way. And if you do that on different strings, that's how they're getting that, you know, rolling type, unraveling type sound when they would play like that. But between that third and fourth finger, there has just always been a weak spot for a lot of people. And if you have trouble doing this, any of this stuff down here, move it way up, you know, around the 10th fret or the 12th fret, because the frets are close together. So, like I said, if you're working on something and it just seems to be too much of a stretch, take it up higher in the neck, work on it first. And another trick is bending. When you're getting into bending notes, the first finger and the second finger are pretty strong. You know, when they've usually got some pretty good strength. But when you come to this third finger and you try to bend, a lot of people will just try to bend just with that finger by itself. And a trick to that is when you're first bending, make sure the first and the second finger are behind your third finger. Push with all three fingers to help that third finger bend up. Make sure you're using the first and second, and same thing with the fourth. Like when you want to do a bend with the fourth finger, make sure all three fingers are behind that pinky finger, and it'll help it push with all those fingers on that string. And that'll give you that strength you need. Don't just try to bend just with a finger by itself. See what I'm saying? That way you can really push up on that wire. That's some of the stuff I've used that's helped me over the years. And I'm going to show you one other exercise that a guitar teacher of mine up in Michigan, my first professional guitar teacher, Duke Begley, great guy, he showed me this thing called the spider exercise. And what it is, it's a major 7th chord. It starts on the 12th fret. You're hitting 12 on the D string, 11 on the G string, 10 on the B string, 9 on the E string, and you hold that chord shape down, and then you move one finger at a time, one fret at a time. Now the next finger, now the next finger, now the next finger. You just keep moving one finger at a time like a spider, crawling down the neck, and you're holding that shape down. Now that, you will feel that you got to be really careful with these exercises, because at first they're really hard to do. But there's different things like that you can use, and I'm starting to feel it in my hand. I mean, it's something that will really help. So I hope some of this stuff helps. And like I said, there's tons of technique things on YouTube you can find, but that lesson goes out to Phil Balfour in the UK. Cheers to you, Phil. I hope this helps. All right. Have a good day.